So the 2%, 2 and 20, 2%, 20%. The 2% is a management fee. This is a fee you are paid just for running the fund every year off the bat. So that is baked in. So for a $10 million fund, you're talking about $200K per year. Make sure one more time I'm not stupid.
You are not.
Tremendous. Okay. So $200K per year management fees. That is not enough to sustain and pay for the kind of team you would need to actually pull off.
Right. It's like a
to do 10
one-person job, if that.
Yeah, exactly. Like for the level of the people you need, because this is hard. You're talking about jumping into I think everybody has their own fun analogy for this, but it's kind of like jumping into a burning building, right?
Yeah.
And depending on what it is, except it's a building that you put on fire.
Jeez,
right?
Exactly.
Because you bought the business and now you're putting all this debt on it. Now, if the debt is unsustainable for the business, you basically walked in there, lit the building on fire, and now you're trying to put it out as quickly as possible.
Exactly.
So it's hard stuff. And it's not easy to manage those situations.
So that tells me that fund is quite small in that case.
Yeah.
Almost
like you'd never actually be able to pull
worth
off.
it because you're jumping into a burning building. If I'm jumping into a burning building, it better be a big building, right? And
right.
It better have like multiple exits.
And that's where the 20 comes in. So the 20 is where it becomes worth it. Because now, let's take that, I'll pull out a little calculator here, but now let's take that, the 20, the concept is that the 20% is carry. Carry is a fun sort of old shipbuilding term. Because back in the day, sailing was so risky with pirates and everything else back in 1540 something, that the captains of ships would say, hey, if I'm going to get this thing there, I want a cut of the money that you get when I deliver it to whoever and we sell it.
There you go.
Because I'm taking the risk of moving this gold or this limestone or timber, whatever it is. If I'm going to get this over past the Cape of Good Hope and survive, then there's got to be money in it for me, right? So same
problem
concept
continues.
Yeah. I think it's apocryphal, but I'm pretty sure that's where people say the term carry comes from. So the same idea is here, right? Where you're saying, hey, I'm going to go to hell and back for you. So I get 20% of the money that's made. Now, in the example of this relatively straightforward deal where we bought at 5 and sold for 7.5, we made 2.5 mil on the deal. So I get to keep 20% of that. That's not to say, of course, you keep the 80% of that as the investors. You're getting the 2 mil. So 500K is what I get to keep. That 500K then is split amongst the partners. It's also a good idea generally not to have too many partners, but just off the bat, suppose there were only 2 partners at a PE, well, then you're both getting 250K, which is also not a lot when you annualize it, by the way. Because if it's 2 people working at a fund, maybe you could realistically do this deal and it wouldn't be too hard. But you'd have to divide it by 2, and you'd also have to divide it by maybe the 2 or 3 years that you spent to make the transaction happen start to finish, which might net out to an extra $83,000.
Exactly.
So bigger companies are better for these reasons, because you have a bigger ship, so you have more opportunity in it for yourself. And even if you and I were the partners, we don't keep the entire 20%. Yes, the PE firm we created does, yes, keep the 20%, but we're going to have help, right? We're going to have maybe an analyst, maybe an associate.